Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Oh my gosh, it's so weird to say that. I never thought I'd be starting a channel. But I was inspired by my friend Emily. We are starting a YouTube channel to document my bodybuilding journey. If you don't already know me from my other social media, which is Lena Lifts with 4 A's on Instagram and TikTok, I am an NPC bikini competitor. I have just competed in my very first show as of, I think, 4 weeks ago now, which is crazy to think it's already been 4 weeks. But I swept my show, took True Novice first place, the Open first place for my height class, and then I took the overall. And now we have decided to prep for another show. Specifically, we are going to NPC Nationals in Irving, Texas on December 12th. So when I say we, I am talking about my coach. I am coached by Sophia Galeazzi. She is amazing. I've been with her for over 2 years now, and I have nothing but amazing things to say about her. She is not only my coach, but one of my closest friends and confidants. And if you're ever wondering about her, go check her out because she is so smart and she has amazing things. But enough of plugging my coach. To give you a little bit of background about who I am 22 years old. I'm from New York. I was a 3-sport athlete my entire life, but then COVID happened and I went to college and I gained a lot of weight. That's kind of how I started going to the gym, and then eventually I landed on bodybuilding, which I thought was so cool. I fell in love with the bikini division. My coach and I decided, let's go become a bikini competitor. So now 2 years later of being with my coach, and I am officially a competitor. I have stepped on stage and I am about to do it again in another 7 weeks. So it's been a wild ride, but I'm only getting started. I just wanted to create a video to introduce myself and maybe take you with me on my day. Tomorrow is check-in day, so I'm going to show you what a day before check-in day looks like for me. Now we are already pretty much done with the day, so I'm going to show you what my night routine is for day before check-in day. Now that introductions are out of the way, why don't I take you guys on a little adventure to make a meal with me and then my afternoon brew. If you follow me on TikTok, you'll know that I have an afternoon brew every day, kind of inspired by my friend Emily. She has a cold brew every afternoon. I like to have a hot coffee in the afternoon though, so no cold brew for me. So let's go make my meal and make my brew, and maybe you'll get to see how I film my afternoon brew and prep protocol update for TikTok. All right, everyone, we've made it to the place where I spend the most time, which is the kitchen. I have my bowl here and I'm about to make some cream of rice. Now, if you didn't already know, I am affiliated with Flavor Gang, so I will be using Bowl of Gains for this. I get 50 grams in this meal, and I'm trying to decide what flavor I'm feeling today. I don't know, they're all just so good, and I have basically every flavor, so I really don't know what I want to go for today. I'm thinking maybe, why don't we do like a brownie batter moment? Yeah, let's do that. But I love cream of rice. Ever since I discovered it way back in the beginning of my bodybuilding career, I basically have been obsessed now. I used to create the world's craziest concoctions of cream of rice because I used to just use the traditional like orange box stuff. So I would add so many things to it, and like it was borderline concerning. Like I was definitely messing up my gut health, but ever since I've been using Bowl of Gains by Flavor Gang, I genuinely don't feel the need to add anything crazy to it because it just tastes so good. And since I'm affiliated with them, you can use code LENA, that is LENA, at checkout for a discount. So there's that shameless plug. But we're going to add our water. For Bowl of Gains, you're supposed to do a 6-to-1 ratio of water to the product. So since I'm using 50 grams, I'll go ahead and pop 300 grams of water in there. And then obviously need to use my baby whisk. This was given to me by my friend India when I went to go to New York City, and honestly, I use her every day. So if you don't already have a baby whisk, you definitely should get one. But now that this is all mixed up, we're gonna pop her in the microwave. And while she's microwaving, we're gonna start preparing our afternoon brew. We're gonna go 1 minute to start out. And then as for our afternoon brew, I'm thinking, I don't know. We have a lot of options. Clearly, I am a coffee lover because I have it every day. But I have a few different options for decaf because I don't drink caffeinated coffee in the afternoon. So we have this fun carnival cream flavor. It's like a hazelnut caramel vanilla flavor from my local coffee shop. We also have this decaf white chocolate caramel. She's so good, but I'm almost out of her. And then the last one I have, oh, here it is. It is a decaf red velvet. I think I'm gonna go with the carnival cream because I had red velvet yesterday. So I'm gonna go ahead. I always get whole bean because the flavor just tastes better after you've had the beans for a while. I'm gonna grind these beans up. I'm gonna do that off camera because it's too loud. And I'm gonna go grab my bowl of Gains from the microwave, give her a whisk, and pop her back in there for another minute. So I will see you after I do that. So we've got the brew going in the background. I am just whisking up my bowl of Gains for now. Typically, I will microwave my bowl of Gains probably about 3 minutes total before I start adding things. So I'll do like 1 minute, take it out, whisk out the clumps, and then repeat that 3 times. And then after that, then I'll start adding my extra stuff. Now, I am very particular with how I take my cream of rice. I am a person that adds egg whites and protein powder to it if I can, because I just like the consistency a lot better that way. Some people just use protein powder, some people don't add anything at all, which I don't like. Some people use whey drip. I'm not a fan of whey drip, so I just kind of skip that altogether. If I'm gonna put something on top, I'm going to put like salt or like nut butter or maybe like some frozen fruit, something like that. But I'm very particular with how I like my cream of rice. But this is my, I think, 5th meal of the day. Currently I eat 6 meals a day, and our food has gotten really high. I've been really fortunate in that my food didn't get super low this prep, and I also only got up to, I believe, 7 by 60 minutes of cardio for like a week, and now I don't do any cardio, but that's just because my body's been reversing so well. Alright, so this is the second microwave. I'm going to whisk out the clumps again, and then I'm going to microwave it for another minute and then add my egg whites and my protein powder and then top it with some pink salt, I think. You need to make sure you whisk out all the clumps, because if you don't do that, then it gets all wonky and the cream of rice doesn't cook well enough. So you really, like, this step is something that you cannot skip. Alright, I have my brew here, and a little bit about this little mug. It has a backstory. Sophia came to my first show, and we went to Target, and we got these mugs, and she couldn't take it home with her, so now I kind of have it, and I use it as my mug every day. So if you can't tell, I'm a little bit sentimental, but I like to sweeten my coffee with stevia drops because honestly, they're just the best, and they're easy for your gut, and it's like a really good flavor. So I think I'm gonna go with some of the English toffee, if that focuses. And then I think I'm also going to go with some vanilla. So we'll do one of those as well. And then I also do get 2 servings of creamer every day, sugar-free. And I live in a house where we drink a lot of coffee, so of course we have the value one. But my favorite is the Coffee Mate French Vanilla Zero Sugar. And I get 15 mLs of this. It's 10 calories, 1 gram of fat. So she's honestly the best. And I prefer it over the Chobani. I know a lot of people like the Chobani. I'm just like not a huge fan of it. This one tastes way better to me. And it has less calories in it. So gonna do that. Give her a little stir. Cheers. Oh, so good. I knew the English toffee stevia drops were gonna go so well in it. All right. And Bowl of Gains is looking so good. It's starting to get that little crust on top of it, which is why I really like Flavor Gang, because the texture is just unmatched. I think they use rice flour instead of granulated rice when they make it. That's why the texture just turns out so much better. But that's just me. Oh, fun fact about me, like I love baking and I love cooking. It's one of my love languages, and I always grew up in the kitchen. My family was a really large Italian family, and all of us loved to cook for each other. It was kind of just like our way of showing appreciation for each other and how we got really close. So I just love looking into food related things and food science and all of that stuff. So that's why I thought that Flavor Gang used rice flour. You'll also notice if you do buy Flavor Gang Bowl of Gains that the granules for the rice are very fine. So that's another thing that I noticed. Grabbing my egg whites from Aldi. I'm gonna pour some of that out. Give her a little stir. So, funny story, when I was recording a recipe for making cream of rice one day, I actually had to delete everything because I noticed I had the biggest RBF when I'm cooking, and apparently that's just me. I cannot keep like a happy face when I'm cooking, and I think that's because I'm so like locked in on my food. But yeah, I need to be more conscious of that, I think. But this is gonna go in the microwave for I think another minute, and then I might add protein powder to this. I might not. It kind of depends. Looking at my protein powder, so I only have chocolate brownie batter from Clean Simple Eats, and while I really love the flavor of it, when you use a whey isolate like that, it pulls the water out of the rice granules and it kind of makes it soupy, and then you have to wait for it to cool down for it to kind of harden again, and I'm impatient, so I don't know if I can do that. I might just end up going with a vanilla, or maybe I'll go with a peanut butter. No, we'll just go with vanilla. So I have P Science's Gourmet Vanilla in this jug, and she's like my tried and true. I use her for almost everything. All right, she's out of the microwave. I'm going to weigh out my protein. Oh, perfect. I love when that happens. There's nothing more satisfying than getting the correct measurement of something right off the bat, which almost never happens, but you know. I'm gonna pop her back in the microwave for just a little bit longer, but first I'm going to scrape down the sides just to make sure that they don't like bake onto them. Okay, we are here with the afternoon brew. She's going to be set aside for now, but I'm going to munch on my glorious bowl of Gains, and I'm obviously going to use my baby spoon. This one, these Munchkins, easily the best spoons ever. Even when I'm not in prep, I still use them, but I feel like that's just a bodybuilder thing. So I'm going to eat this, and then I'm going to film my afternoon brew and prep chat, so you'll be able to see a little bit of behind the scenes of what that looks like. And then I'm going to go on with the rest of my afternoon, film my pre-check-in day routine, and then that'll be it. Okay, bowl of Gains, absolutely demolished, absolutely delightful. Flavor Gang, bowl of Gains, code Lena, you know the drill. She was so good, but now we get to put her aside and grab our brew because it is time for the afternoon brew and prep protocol update chat. Now, you guys, if you follow me on TikTok, you know every single day I record my prep protocol and my afternoon brew, and I just yap at you guys every day. So go follow me on TikTok to see those every single day and just get all the good vibes. But you are all going to see what it looks like when I do this. Now, I pretty much talk off the cuff every single time that I do something like this. I don't really plan it. I just kind of like go with whatever comes out of my mouth. Sometimes I need to re-record it, but most of the time it's like, oh, one and done. So we're going to go into my TikTok. Okay. And I'm going to scoot over just a little. No, I don't like that. Yeah, this lighting is a little bit better. So we're going to scoot over and then record our little prep update. So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the afternoon brew and prep update. I have a decaf carnival cream, which is like a vanilla hazelnut situation with some French vanilla coffee mate creamer. So good, 9 out of 10, I think. But as for prep stuff, today I was very hungry, which means we're probably getting more food tomorrow. Weight's holding steady, digestion is so good, no cardio still, so we are just flying by. But I can't believe it, we are already at like the 7-week out mark. So 7 weeks to put on size, 7 weeks to absolutely slay this physique, get better posing, and to just enjoy the ride. Prep has been so good, and I can't wait to see what is next. But tell me, what are we drinking this afternoon? Are you drinking a decaf too, or maybe something different? And that's how I do that every time. Typically, it just rolls off the tongue like that. I've gotten very good at recording one-off for TikTok. One, because it's just like a chat. Like, I don't need to be super professional. I don't need to be super put together. It's just me being real and just me giving my unfiltered thoughts and opinions. And honestly, people who don't like it, like, that's fine. It's not your cup of tea. Like, this is really for like my close friends and like anyone who's in the niche bodybuilding space who wants to know what's going on with my prep or how I've been feeling that day during prep. So it's the update, and then it also like lets me talk about my fun little coffee shop that I go to. I adore this coffee shop. I think I'm their #1 fan. I've put so many locals onto it. They have over 60 flavors of grounds that they keep on hand, and then 20 additional grounds that they have in decaf. And quite literally, I don't know what I would do without them because it literally makes my day. So another fun fact about me is I do go to that coffee shop 3 times a week because they are right next to my university. I am a grad student. I am in school for school counseling. It's a 2-year master's program, so I am on my second to last semester of that. We only have like 5 weeks left, which is crazy to think about. And then once I'm done there, I'll go get a big girl job. But for now, I'm working my assistant managerial job at a gym, and I'm also an intern at a local school under another professional school counselor. So your girl is booked and busy, but that's a little bit of a dump of more personal information about me that I wasn't planning on including here. So back to the prep chat and the brew update. I literally just titled this afternoon brew and prep chat, and that's basically where everyone can see what I've been thinking on TikTok. And it's just like something cutesy and little that I like to do. So when you're in prep, you really want to just document as much as you can, and you also want to just make sure that you're taking all the data that you can, because at the end of the day, every picture, every video, every journal is another piece of data that you can go and look back at. So this is another thing that I can do to just look back at and see how I was feeling at this point in my prep. So that is my TikTok of the afternoon, and I will bring you guys along for the rest of my pre-check-in routine. All right, we are on our way to start our evening routine for pre-check-ins. So, first things first is an Epsom salt bath. I am a hardcore Epsom salt bath girly. They just relax me so well. However, I do not have a bath in my house. I bought my house about a year ago with my man, and we live together, but we don't have a bath. But thankfully, I bought my old neighbor's house, so there's a car that just went by. Very rude. But since I live across the street from my parents' house and they have a bath, every day before check-in day, I walk there and I take an Epsom salt bath, really relax myself, relax my muscles, and then it just helps me get in the mindset of getting ready for check-ins for the next day so that I bring the best package possible to show Sophia how I'm looking. So I'm about to go do that, so give me a second while I get there. Made it to our destination. I'm not going to show you the bathroom because I fear my mom would probably not like that, but we're using Dr. Teal's Epsom salts, of course, because they make the best ones, and these ones are like a limited edition. It's a fall scented one. It's called Cozy Fireside. It smells like chestnut and cedar. So good. It's a little bit of like a manly scent, but I don't mind it. But we're going to get our bath on, and then we are going to head back to my house, and then we are going to prepare our meals for the next day and my last meal for the night. Okay, everyone, Epsom salt bath is done. We are back in the lab getting ready for my last meal. So this meal is 50 grams of chicken, 30 grams of avocado, and 100 grams of zucchini with 40 grams of oats. Now, I don't have quick oats, but I do have old fashioned, and I don't want these to sit in my stomach all night. So life hack is, if you don't have quick oats, put them in a blender because it'll be easier for your body to digest them. Now, I don't have any protein powder or anything to flavor this, so I'm going to go in with some maple extract, if this will focus. Okay, period. Do that. And then we're also going to go in with some cinnamon and then some stevia drops. So cinnamon, obviously, some hefty dashes of that. And then my stevia drops. Gonna go with some vanilla. Sounds good. So we'll go with a few droppers full of that. I feel like 3 is appropriate for 40 grams of oats. We'll fill it with water, and then I'll toss her in the microwave, blend her up, put her in my bowl, and then we will be ready for this meal. But I'm going to be honest, I think I'm just going to eat the other part of my meal that's already in the microwave and done cooking first, and then we'll come back for this bad boy. All right, besties, I do fear that I did eat my oats without you. I was just really hungry and I didn't film it. But just know that I blended it all up, put it in here, put it in the microwave, and then I ate it, and it was delicious. But that wraps up my eating for the day. So now I need to meal prep. So I have 6 meals. One of them is my pre-workout meal, which is Flavor Gang Bowl of Gains, code Lena, obviously. My post-workout meal is, I believe, chicken, rice, pineapple. My meal 1 is oats, and then like an omelet situation. But I make my overnight oats into a creamy. It is so good. I will maybe make a video about that later. Let me know if that's something you guys want to see. But it's like an overnight oat creamy situation with an omelet with veggies. And then my meal after that is salmon, bok choy, oranges, and sweet potato. After that, I get another chicken and rice meal, and then I get another chicken and sweet potato meal after that. So I am going to meal prep all of that. It's going to take me a long time, I'm not gonna lie, so I'm probably not gonna film all of it. And honestly, normally when I'm meal prepping, I watch Project Runway because it just makes time go by faster. Either that or I watch the Mel Robbins podcast because I love a good self-help podcast. So I'm gonna go do that, and then I will show you all what the final product looks like, and then we will get into my pre-bed routine. So I will see you all in a little bit. Okay, so it's only been about a few seconds for you guys, but it's been about 45 minutes for me, and I am done meal prepping. So let's take a look at what I have. First things first, massive bowl of Gains, Flavor Gang, code Lena, you know the drill. It is 80 grams bowl of Gains with 100 grams of banana, 20 grams of Manuka honey, and some chicken on top. That's pre-workout. Post-workout, we have 50 grams of chicken with 200 grams of white rice and 20 grams of Manuka honey with 150 grams of pineapple. Moving on to my third meal of the day, it is 100 grams of bok choy with 150 grams of sweet potato and 70 grams of salmon. And then for our fruit, we have 100 grams of banana. Next, my favorite meal of the day, it is 80 grams of oats with 100 grams of strawberries, some stevia, and we also put some peanut butter extract, so it's like a PB&J moment. This is like an overnight oats situation turned into a creamy. Spin this a few times and it will be the best creamy that you've ever had in your entire life. This is paired with some eggs and a vegetable situation. What I'm going to do is I get to eat this meal when I'm home. So I'm going to take these spinach, peppers, and mushrooms and then saute them with my 2 eggs that I get. I also get 10 grams of nut butter. Okay, so my nut butter of choice as of late has been this creamy cashew butter. So good. I also love the Maranatha coconut almond butter, but that goes on top of my creamy. And then my 5th meal is 100 grams of zucchini, 50 grams of chicken, 150 grams of sweet potato, and 50 grams of avocado. And then finally we get 100 grams of Brussels sprouts, 90 grams of white rice, 50 grams of avocado, and 50 grams of chicken. This all comes out to about 135 grams of protein, 415 grams of carbs, and 56 grams of fat. So you may be thinking, Lena, why are you eating so much? You're in prep. We actually started reversing about 6 weeks pre my first show, so about 10 weeks ago. So we've been reversing ever since then, and my body's basically a machine, and it's just running through food. So we're keeping training up. We're keeping food up. We're trying to put on size for this show so it can be as competitive as possible. And we're really just running with it. So that's why I get to eat so much food. And also, I don't do any cardio. 0 cardio. So honestly, I feel so blessed. I don't say this to brag or to sound a certain way. I was actually having a hard time talking about this with my coach, and I was basically saying, Sophia, like, I don't want to tell people my exact protocol. Like, I don't want people to think I'm bragging or I'm full of myself because I am doing this in prep and I'm not in the depths. Like, I don't feel like I deserve this. And she basically told me, like, no, Lena, like, you worked so hard. You worked just as hard as anyone else during prep. Like, when you were in the depths of prep, you were doing an hour of cardio every day along with, like, no food, but
you reverse like a champion, and we are reaping the benefits of sticking to the plan. So because I stuck to the plan so well, I was able to do this. And just for frame of reference, I'm saying this because anyone can get to this point. I'm not special. I didn't have great genetics. So when I first started with Sophia, we actually went through an initial cut, and I was up to an hour of fasted cardio with 30 minutes of cardio post lift every day. And I was on like 30 grams of carbs. I was eating basically nothing. So my genetics aren't anything special. I got to this point basically because I worked my butt off for years and I always stuck to the plan. So if you're ever wondering like if I'm just genetically gifted or if I'm God's favorite or like, you know, something like that, like no. I worked my butt off to get here, and my coach basically told me like it's okay to talk about it because I did the work to get here. I didn't, you know, I'm not genetically gifted. I just did the work. So if you ever want to get to a place like I am, stick to your plan, follow what your coach is telling you. Also make sure you have a good coach. And when you're reversing, stick to the reverse. It's going to be hard for a while, and it was very hard for me for the first like 4 weeks because I felt like I was starving all the time, and even though I had way less cardio and way more food, my body was just starving all the time. So stick to the reverse no matter how hard it is, and you will get the benefits. But now that meal prepping is over, I am going to put this all in the fridge, and I think I'm going to do a little posing because it's only 8:20 right now. Then I'm going to get dressed for bed, put my stuff out for check-ins tomorrow, and get to bed because I have work really early in the morning and I need to lift tomorrow. So let's go.
Okay, so we are getting ready to pose right now. I am upstairs on our second floor. Our second floor is actually unfinished, but this room that we're in right here, it has really good lighting for posing because we have this closet situation. I'll kind of like turn around a little bit and show you guys. So there's this closet situation that's backlit, and you can see that I could just set my phone and my tripod up. Is what I choose to do for posing practice because this lighting comes in and it hits me well. It kind of mimics stage lighting. So I'm going to do a few rounds of posing, and I like to do this at the end of the day because it kind of like gets me to look at when my physique is quote unquote my worst, in a sense that like I've gone through a full day of eating, I've drank 6 liters of water. So if I can still make it look good even after all of that, then we are so up. But I'm going to do a few rounds of that. Maybe I will keep you guys along for that, but that is going to be my next probably 10 minutes. So my few minutes of posing is over. So time to put this stuff downstairs to get ready for check-ins, get changed, and get to bed. So we are all ready, face washed, ready for bed. We have everything set out and ready for tomorrow. We have my tripod, heels, and posing suit ready for check-ins tomorrow. But that is my pre-check-in day routine and little get to know me, and welcome to the channel. So thank you all for tuning in. Hopefully there will be more. Have a great night.